Hi everyone, my name is Gautam Gupta and I want to welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Universal Fundamentals. In this video, I'm going to continue my series on the 2025 Vedic Astrology yearly predictions for all of the 12 ascendants and moon signs and how these planetary transits will be affecting you based on your ascendant and or moon sign. In this video, I will exclusively be talking about Aquarius ascendants and moon signs. Now, 2025 is going to be a monumental year because all of the slower moving planets will be changing signs at some point in 2025. And this is going to bring huge changes to everyone's life depending on what your ascendant and moon sign are. And when I talk about the slower moving planets, I am talking about the nodes Rahu and Ketu, Jupiter, as well as Saturn. All of these planets will be changing signs in the year 2025. And in fact, Jupiter will travel through three signs as it will be moving pretty quickly in 2025. Now, before I begin this discussion in detail, I want to remind everyone to please check out my website, universal-fundamentals.com, where you can learn more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer. You can also check out the various services that I offer, and I will be leaving links down below so you all can check that out in more detail. I also want to remind everyone that I do practice sidereal Vedic astrology and not Western tropical astrology. Also, if you find this video to be helpful and useful, then please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. Doing so will really help me out with the YouTube algorithm so this video can reach a vast audience. So with that being said, I will now begin discussing how all of these planetary transits will affect an Aquarius ascendant and or moon sign for the year 2025. So, first important transit I want to start talking about for an Aquarius ascendant and or moon sign is that transiting Saturn will continue to remain in your first house of Aquarius until March 29th of 2025. And because Saturn will be leaving the sign of Aquarius fairly soon, this tells me that all of the heavy responsibilities, duties, and commitments that you've been dealing with in your personal life will pay off. You will start to feel as if a huge weight has been lifted off your shoulders, and this is going to feel satisfying. Now, with Saturn's third aspect to your third house, this does tell me that any efforts you put in when it comes to maintaining your relationships with your younger siblings and or neighbors will start paying off. You will end up having a sense of understanding for one another, and you will mutually respect each other. This is also a transit where I see any projects related to your short stories, articles, and or social media projects paying off well. And with Saturn's seventh aspect to your seventh house, this tells me that the hard work you've put into maintaining your relationships with business partners and or significant others will also pay off. And you guys will have a lot of mutual understanding and respect as well. And finally, with Saturn's 10th aspect to your 10th house, this tells me that the actions you've been taking to maintain your career, reputation, and social standing will not go unnoticed. You will get the recognition and become more noticed before Saturn leaves the sign of Aquarius. Now, normally Saturn's 10th aspect usually indicates challenges to that house. However, because transiting Jupiter in Taurus is also aspecting the 10th house, this is creating a point of manifestation. So therefore, you will continue to have opportunities to flourish in your 10th house matters when it comes to your career, social standing, fame, and reputation. This point of manifestation in your 10th house of Scorpio will continue until March 29th of 2025, which is when Saturn transits into the sign of Pisces. Now, the next important transit I want to discuss for an Aquarius ascendant and or moon sign is that transiting Jupiter will continue to remain in your fourth house of Taurus until May 14th of 2025. And a very important event that is occurring on February 4th of 2025 is that transiting Jupiter will be turning direct at 17 degrees of Taurus. So if you happen to have a planet that is around 14 to 20 degrees of Taurus, Virgo, Scorpio, and or Capricorn, then you're going to have many blessings and success due to any opportunities you may have seized during the first 2 weeks of July 2024. This will be incredible for things related to your home life, relationship with your mother, real estate, vehicles, and your personal happiness. This will also be great for your eighth house matters, such as your joint assets, in-laws, and your ability to receive unearned wealth through an inheritance or settlement. This will also be great for your 10th house matters, such as your career, reputation, social standing, and fame. And it'll also be great for your 12th house matters regarding the dynamics of your past, spiritual life, and sleep matters. Now, another important transit I want to mention is that transiting Venus will be exalted in your second house of Pisces from January 27th of 2025 until May 30th of 2025. And while it is in the sign of Pisces, it will be forming a mutual exchange with transiting Jupiter, which is in your fourth house of Taurus up until May 14th of 2025. Now, the reason why I want to talk about Venus being in Pisces is because there is going to be a special transit. Venus normally stays in one sign for about a month, but this time it will be staying in the sign of Pisces for about 4 months, which is due to the fact that transiting Venus will be turning retrograde from March 2nd of 2025 until April 14th of 2025. And while Venus remains direct in your second house, this will actually enhance your financial situation. I see many opportunities for you to do well financially during this transit, as there will be an increase in your bank balance. And I also see that you will be getting along with your family members quite beautifully throughout this transit. So if you plan on having any family gatherings while Venus is direct, then rest assured it will go extremely well. And this is especially the case if it's from your mother's side, due to the fact that the second and fourth Lord houses are in exchange with each other. This is also a great opportunity for expansion within the home. Now, one thing you have to be aware of is that Venus will turn retrograde from March 2nd of 2025 until April 14th of 2025. And this will be a transit where you have to exercise caution and care. You will have to be extremely careful with how you spend your money and how you interact with your family members. There can be some instances where your communication is misunderstood or misconstrued, so it will be important to speak clearly and with good intentions. Don't say anything you will regret later. And the good news is that once Venus turns direct after April 14th of 2025, things related to your money, finances, and family should continue to run smoothly. Now, while Venus is going to be in your second house of Pisces, it is going to be conjunct with Rahu in your second house, and Ketu is going to be in your eighth house of Virgo until May 29th of 2025. And this transit is going to prompt you to continue to really focus on your family and financial matters. Now, an extremely important part about this transit is that starting March 29th of 2025, transiting Saturn will also join Rahu in your second house of Pisces, and this is going to really change things to a completely different level. And when the Rahu and Saturn conjunction does occur, you do have to be really careful with the way you communicate with your family members. There could be some tense moments, and if you don't choose your words carefully, then things can escalate really quickly in a negative way. And also, be careful with your spending and your diet as well. Make sure you're not consuming anything unhealthy throughout this transit. Now, the good news is that once Rahu separates from Saturn after May 29th of 2025, things related to your second house matters, such as your family life and finances, will grow and progress at a slow and steady pace. But you will have to put in a lot of effort and due diligence to maintain these areas. And with Saturn's third aspect to your fourth house, this tells me that you will be putting in a lot of effort when it comes to maintaining a good relationship with your mother. You will also be working hard to maintain your current property, real estate, and or vehicles. These things will take up a lot of energy and focus, so be prepared to work hard to avoid any mishaps in the future. But while Jupiter is in the fourth house until May 14th of 2025, I do see a certain amount of protection and growth related to the relationship with your mother and dynamics of your real estate and vehicles. And this will be due to the fact that Saturn's third aspect to your fourth house and Jupiter transiting the fourth house of Taurus until May 14th of 2025 is providing a point of manifestation. So I do think just for that time frame, you will be protected. However, once Jupiter leaves the sign of Taurus, then you will have to be extremely careful when it comes to your fourth house areas. Then, with Saturn's seventh aspect to your eighth house, this tells me that there could be some issues and concerns regarding your in-laws and or joint assets if you happen to be married. There could be a lot of issues that come up between you guys, and open communication and understanding will be crucial in order to maintain a good relationship. Now, the good news is that up until May 14th of 2025, Jupiter will also cast its fifth aspect to your eighth house, so you will have a good amount of protection and stability when it comes to your joint assets, relationships with your in-laws, as well as your inheritance and settlement issues. This will also continue to be good for learning metaphysical or occult sciences such as psychology, excuse me. However, once transiting Jupiter leaves the sign of Taurus after May 14th of 2025, you will have to be extra careful when it comes to your joint assets and or in-laws. So keep this in mind as you go through this transit and aspect. And finally, with Saturn's 10th aspect to your 11th house, this tells me that there could be some karmic obligations that you may have towards older siblings, friends, and or your social network circles. You may be doing a lot of projects with them, which will require a lot of focus and cooperation. And this will teach you how to maintain these relationships and navigate any challenges that you have together. And this will give an opportunity for these relationships to grow and prosper for the long run. So I do think you'll be focusing a lot of your time on this area. Now, the good news is that after May 14th of 2025, transiting Jupiter will enter the sign of Gemini, which is in your fifth house, and it will cast its seventh aspect to your 11th house of Sagittarius. And this will create a point of manifestation. So while transiting Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini, this will actually give you great opportunities to connect with your friends, social network circles, and or an older sibling. Now, one thing I do want to mention about the Saturn transit in Pisces is that the Rahu and Saturn conjunction in the sign of Pisces will last from March 29th of 2025 until May 29th of 2025. Then after May 29th of 2025, transiting Saturn will remain in the sign of Pisces up until June 2nd of 2027. Then it will return back to the sign of Pisces from October 20th of 2027, and it will stay in the sign of Pisces until February 22nd of 2028. Now, the next important transit that I want to talk about is that transiting Jupiter will enter your fifth house of Gemini on May 15th of 2025, and it will go through the entire sign of Gemini throughout the next 5 months. So after October 18th of 2025, transiting Jupiter will briefly enter your sixth house of Cancer, but it will return back to the sign of Gemini on December 5th of 2025, and it will remain in your fifth house of Gemini until June 1st of 2026. And while Jupiter is in your fifth house of Gemini, this is going to open up many opportunities to positively connect with your children. I think you'll be doing a lot of fun activities throughout this transit, and this will give you an opportunity to develop mutual love and understanding for one another. This will also provide several opportunities for gains in your speculative investments. These areas in your life are going to move forward very quickly since Jupiter will transit the entire sign within 5 months. And this will really allow you to get things done regarding any activities with your children and or speculative investments. Now, with Jupiter's fifth aspect to your ninth house, this tells me that you will have several opportunities to connect with your father and teachers. And this will help strengthen your bond and connection with one another. And for those of you who want to start higher education course, such as a master's or PhD, then this will be a great year to start and make things happen. And if you're already enrolled in higher education courses, then this will be a great year for making progress. This is also a great time for long distance traveling and learning about spirituality. Then, with Jupiter's seventh aspect to your 11th house, this tells me that you will have several opportunities to connect with friends, social network circles, and or an older sibling. And because transiting Saturn from your second house is also aspecting the 11th house from its 10th aspect, you will have the discipline and focus needed to maintain these relationships. This is also a great aspect for financial gains as well. And finally, with Jupiter's ninth aspect to your first house, this tells me that you will have an extraordinary sense of self-confidence throughout the year. You will have a great level of optimism regarding where your life is going, and this will help you navigate through a lot of the other challenges that you may be facing due to other transits. Now, the next important transit I will discuss for an Aquarius ascendant and or moon sign is that transiting Rahu will be going into your first house of Aquarius, and transiting Ketu will be going into your seventh house of Leo starting on May 29th of 2025. And it's going to remain in these signs until November 24th of 2026. Now, with transiting Ketu into your seventh house of Leo, this tells me that there could be a sense of disconnect in your relationships with either your business partners and or spouse. You might not be seeing things on the same page, and this can cause some discord if you guys are working together. So open communication will be important to maintain transparency and the strength of this relationship. Or this can alternatively mean that your partner is feeling quite disconnected and needs some space or time off. If that's the case, then just listen to what their needs are, and this will help build a stronger foundation for the future. Now, with Ketu's fifth aspect to your 11th house, this tells me that you will take a much more spiritual approach when it comes to interacting and connecting with your friends, network circles, and or older siblings. And this will help cultivate a deeper understanding with one another, especially since Jupiter in Gemini is aspecting your 11th house as well up until October 18th of 2025. Now, with Ketu's ninth aspect to your third house, this tells me that there could be some temporary disconnect with a younger sibling and or neighbor. So open communication and understanding will be key to maintaining a healthy relationship with them. This is also a transit where if you're working on any short stories or articles, then you will have to exercise patience and hard work in order to reap these rewards. But there will be massive potential for these rewards. Then, with transiting Rahu into your first house of Aquarius, this tells me that you will be focusing a lot more on yourself throughout these next 18 months. You will be embarking on a journey of self-discovery and you will be putting yourself first. And that's totally okay because sometimes we all need to put ourselves first in order to grow and prosper in life. You will also become more noticed by other people, and this could be a good or bad thing depending on the actions you have taken and who's watching. And another important aspect about this transit is that while Jupiter is transiting through your fifth house of Gemini, transiting Rahu in your first house will be casting its fifth aspect to transiting Jupiter in your fifth house. And in return, transiting Jupiter will cast its ninth aspect to your first house of Aquarius, forming a mutual aspect. And they will both be aspecting your ninth house of your father, teachers, higher education, spirituality, and long distance traveling. This means that there are going to be lots of opportunities for growth and expansion in these areas throughout the next 18 months. So keep all of this in mind as you navigate through this transit. Now, the final transit I want to discuss for an Aquarius ascendant and or moon sign is that transiting Jupiter will briefly enter your sixth house of Cancer from October 18th of 2025 until December 5th of 2025. And it will turn retrograde on November 11th of 2025 at just under 1 degree of Cancer. So while Jupiter is transiting your sixth house during this short window of time, This is actually going to give you a preview as to what to expect when transiting Jupiter officially enters your sixth house of Cancer, again later in 2026. So I want you to really pay attention to the events that do happen over the course of these 6 weeks because you will end up receiving the blessings and opportunities of these events in the summer of 2026 when Jupiter officially enters the sign of Cancer. So when Jupiter enters your sixth house of Cancer for these 6 weeks, this will give you opportunities to connect with your coworkers and or employees. Some of you may be introduced to new coworkers and or employees, and once Jupiter re-enters the sign of Cancer later in 2026, they may end up officially working with you. This is also a transit where health matters will be highly focused as well. Now, with Jupiter's fifth aspect to your 10th house, this will give you a preview of the types of tasks and work you will be performing in your career. For some of you, you may be looking for a new job, and this transit will give you an opportunity to look at companies that you might be interested in. And once Jupiter re-enters the sign of Cancer, then you may end up forming a positive connection with these companies and possibly even work for them. Then, with Jupiter's seventh aspect to your 12th house, this will give you a preview of any opportunities you may have to travel internationally. And this will allow you to connect with other cultures and people, which will help you grow on a spiritual level. This will also give you opportunities to resolve past issues that need to be addressed. And finally, with Jupiter's ninth aspect to your second house, this will give you a preview of the types of interactions and connections that you will be forming with your family members. It's possible that you might be connecting with them during the holidays, and once Jupiter re-enters the sign of Cancer in 2026, you will reconnect once again regarding the same events that happened during these 6 weeks. So this is what I wanted to cover regarding what's going to happen for an Aquarius ascendant and or moon sign for the year 2025. I hope you guys got something out of this. Once again, if you found this video to be useful, please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button. Doing so will tremendously help me out with the YouTube algorithm so this video can reach a vast audience. Also, if you're new to my channel and would like to see similar videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on that bell notification. And if you would like to know more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer, then please check out my website, universal-fundamentals.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.